Good morning, and it is that of day number 3 for the month of July 2018. This is the crypto day morning. My name is Derek, and welcome to the video. And looking at the crypto market right now, we're seeing the price in at 65.73 rather. Price action has now had a day holding thus far, staying above the 18 average of highs enough where at least the 18 lows can barely start a rising session. Thus, markets now in a more neutral state and thus barely trying to do the next phase in the market. And I'd be looking for to establish a level of resistance. And the projected area, and the one I feel would be around the best, would be where the line is in at around 71.30, bit or above, a bit below or above rather. For the previous resistance at about 6,800 rather, in that area of previous highs. When I look at when moves, or when I look at this on a say a 300-hour time or 3-hour time frame, when I look for decent sized legs that are just right, too big, too small, if the rally, the next one only goes to 6,800, that would be too small. If it goes to 71, it would be just right. And well, I mean, I don't mind it, and it could do it. But once we start to get rallies that go up to like 7,600, that would be too high. But you know that will happen at times. Markets will have major moves at different occasions. But when we look at this on the short term, and I think I'll use an hour for this one now, there is a spot here in which the price action has the sideways move after a large, beautiful gain. So it corrects it, digests it in time, in such, and then when it gets ready to go again, it just goes. I'm just want to take a look at the volume in here because I had it hidden before when it was annoying. And there was decent amount of volume, of course, and you expect that pretty much every single time when you have a decent size move, but it's practically doing the same thing now. Small miniature sell-off within just recently, but relatively just a sideways move, and it could last for, well, it's about maybe about half the size as the last one was. It's not like that's going to be how long it takes, but it's holding in there thus far. I mean, it's well below 7,000, that of the Bitcoin price. It still has a long ways to go on either direction to a decent capitulation move, which is about 3,000, and to really change the overall dynamics of the direction of the trend, because its last key high is still close to 10,000, and that's about a well better than 30% gain from there. So that'll be it for Bitcoin for this morning. Some other charts that I find of interest. First off, that of Syscoin, which is having a bear market rally. We'll see if this one is able to hold. The last bear market rally it had was here. It didn't hold. It did for a little bit, but after it corrected through time to the 18 highs, it corrected through price to the 18 lows. And then after it corrected through time at the 18 lows, it had a small leg lower, and then it corrected through time within the 18 of highs. And then after it did so, it had a grinding leg lower. And this type of movement within my strategy, I mean, I have to take what occurs in the market, but that really only gives me buys. I really can't sell. I could maybe, if I was able to get this buy in here, sell at this point here, but that's really all I'm going to get. And that's even if I get that. And for me, if you're playing in markets like this and you're in a downtrend, I'm always hoping that at least it's going to do stuff like this so that I can at least grab some sales along the way. Thus, if I'm putting buy orders here, and I can get a sale. But obviously not so much the case. But today, I was able to get my last buy back. Somewhere around here I made a buy, and well, somewhere near the top I just recently made a sale. So we look at this on the 400-minute time frame. The amount of time that it declined from this breakout low here was from this level. It left it on June the 23rd at 240. So morning of June 23rd. It bottomed there on the morning of June 28th. So 5 days of decline. What has been received back since the morning of July the 2nd, or that of 1 day and change, but basically 1 day. That's the way these cryptos work. They're going to go up, at least the crosses against the Bitcoins and other coins like Ethereum, these wilder altcoins with more volatility. They're going to have, it seems, more larger moves on the upside, at least through time, than they do in the downside, and having this grinding your way lower. Well, when it's ready to go, it's going to go. So now you got to move like this. It's made this bear market rally. Is it going to be real? Maybe, question mark. For this thing could just keep on blasting off, and this could keep on going free fall up until 4,500 and gain easily another 1,100 points. And I'm using the word could because I've seen it happen so many times. Of course, there's so many times where you have this move in the bear market and instant or relatively quick comes back and the band isn't able to get much support, or excuse me, it's not able to get really any good rallies, and then it'll eventually fade over. That happens within bear markets, and then now that it's made a move, maybe it will be able to settle some time and correct the move, which is why when you have a move like this and you get the 18s that start to rise, that's where it can, at least if it pulls back, correct this move, establish some sort of resistance in here, and then get a nice little setup to maybe later break it out, are some of the things that I look for amongst this stage. And another one I'm looking at is Cloak, and it 2 days ago had that same bear market rally. When you're in the down move, you're well below the 18 lows, you're just not getting anything productive done and reverting the trend. Every time you get in the band, you resist and you're going to eventually sell off. So that's why it's tough to trust these markets. You know, it's going to have to be trusted at some time. I look at this game as Team A, Team B. You're going to have a decent up move, decent down move, and they're not hard to find. I could get a 7 and 8-year-old to tell me where the decent up and down moves are. So you can see them. So now what's it trying to do? Well, could it be making an up move? Maybe. You got now the third day in which you have noticeably, you can see the size of the green candles. The highs, 3 days, have managed to get above the 18 average of highs. If you shorten it out, and it's very important to do so when you see these 3 periods like such, you're missing out on a lot of the story by not using the message of the market. And when you look at this on the 60-minute time frame, this was awesome because I was getting a big sale order here, buying it back instantly via having the sell orders in the system, in which I do. Now I don't, I was going to say I don't trade Cloak against Bitcoin, but I actually do. I was thinking I might have traded against BNB, but it's not available on. I mean, that cross isn't there. So I'm trading this against this exact cross. But the story of the market is it's held now the pattern nicely to have support at the 18 lows in the band, and within the 18 lows and highs, just correct within. And then these moves happen. Big buyers come in. They really overbuy the market, and then you correct successfully. This one at the 18 lows again. Of course, it's rising, so it's higher. Now, the support back at resistance, that's not a surprise to see happen. And when you know it's not a surprise in markets and you have big pushes like, oh my goodness, we're rallying again. It came to like over 9,000 before. It's rallying to 7 or 9 handle, 77, 82, and so on. It's pulling back. Well, where did it come from last time? Oh, resistance last time was about 680. Oh, okay. I'm just curious. Oh, what did the low come here at? 696. No, it's not to that number. It was a pierce above, but it was close though. And of course, it supported the 18 lows. Has the gain again, so we're seeing the trend move. It's lower highs on these moves higher, but it's continually making the higher lows within the 18 average of such. So a nice little pattern, and it's developed a nice little uptrend within such. When you develop or look at such through different things, even like the 3-hour time frame. These lines magically work out, and I don't know what other adjective to use, but I've just put them in and it's like, oh, well, I'm not surprised that line happens to be a spot, whatever. But if it's able to get past these resistance and have a nice leg higher, I would expect a decent pierce above this next line and maybe even a move, maybe up to around the 115 handle. It might then pull back to or below this Fibonacci level afterwards. I think on a good push, what would happen is it would move to this previous high of about 115. And if it's going to pull back within Fibonacci there, maybe have a pierce below to about the 92. Settle in there, but you know what? I'm not going to try to predict the exact order. Rather, I'm just going to have my buy and sell orders in place. And for me, risk-reward management is job number one. I don't know if I did the intro, but always for yourself, risk-reward, that's your position when you are trading these markets. Just go over a couple more that I was looking at. NEO is here against Bittrex, on Bittrex Exchange against Bitcoin. Well, this sound close to the same. Sometimes it's just so obvious to figure out where targets would be if it's able to have another leg lower from here, because this is a spot, bear market rally. But what did it do with yesterday's such? It's continuing to do such. So again, when we shorten out the time frame, it got going. When markets are ready to go, they go. This one was ready to go, and it has shown no signs yet of stopping. And like I stated again, if it's going to have a decent size move, having previous support at this, or where previous support used to be at around the 672 handle, is most certainly an area. If it keeps on rallying, I'd be thinking, oh, if it keeps going up, yeah, 590, 610, 620, 650, ooh, 670, this thing, don't be surprised if it stops going up from here more times than not. But again, when these things can keep on going, it can go, and it might stop going up to a point like we see in here, like you'd be saying back in 2017 at the end. Oh, don't be surprised if it stops going up here. And well, it did, but it wasn't too productive for the most part in selling, and then because you just couldn't buy back. But it was productive in the sense when you're able to buy in here and then sell, or whatever type of gain you get, that's always productive. Because if you sell here back and say real close before Christmas, I got a sell order at 447. Well, guess what? You've never bought that back. Because, oh, I got a sell order, say here again, like at 680. Well, now you just recently bought that back because it got below it here. Oh, I got a sell order here at like 9 whatever. Well, you couldn't get that back until like March. Oh, I got a sell order here at the top. Well, those you got back a little earlier. And when I look at this, the market's always going to have wild up and down moves. And last year's, it was like Neo coin back then, 8,200 Satoshi to 1.3 million Satoshi. And finally, the last one that I want to go over, I really want to talk about this mainly for strategies, because I've had like 3 or 4 sell orders in a row on this, and I'm playing this for bigger volatility that I can sell at smaller levels. But it's goes up, it goes down. Nice little failed breakdown here at the 390 handle as it went down to 301. Now it's 444, so it's only gained about 50% with this whatever kind of move, and this whatever kind of move had a low noticeably above the April lows, and its current high is still noticeably above the April Fool's high rally, which occurred at the start of May. One of the things I've been talking about are the dates, and and right before the end of June, start of July, I'm thinking, are we going to have these simple numbers? And what do I mean by simple numbers? Well, at least since April. Well, all the markets right around April 1st, April Fool's Day, started a great rally. We can see here with Gigabyte DGB, it rallied for the entire month from 267 handle up to May 1st to the 528 handle. And that's what a lot of the altcoins did. They rallied well that month. But then they sold off well in May and June. This one mainly sold off through time, and then one decent leg through price, of course, that brought the level to the 300 barrier. And I'm noticing with a lot of the signs that am I not going to say, oh yeah, the July 1st level, which would be, of course, where the 2-month bear market ended and we started a new one, sort of like passing turns in a game on the dice in a 2-player game. the upside, downside, bulls versus bears, whichever nouns you want to give them. And again, it's so easy for a kid to say, where did it have big up and down moves? And it's just so simple. So thank you for tuning in to this video, and have yourself a magnificent day. Bye-bye.